Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the June 11th, 2024 Town Council meeting. I would ask that we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would ask that we take a moment of silence to reflect on all that's happening in the world, both near and far. Thank you. At this time, I have to announce that this meeting is being recorded by LCAT, and I have to ask if there's anyone in the audience, audio or video recording. Seeing none. Public comments. Jeannie, has anyone signed up for public comments?
No.
Don, is there anyone online?
You're not.
Okay. Council comments. Counselors, anything happening? Any comments? I have nothing this meeting.
We had an election. We can
Well, that's coming up real quick.
congratulate Connor on his reelection.
Congratulations. Council comments, town manager report.
No town manager report other than the robust report further on in the evening. We'll have one more manager's report on the 25th.
Thank you.
Yep.
Communications, correspondence and announcements. We had an annual town election, and Jeannie, do we have an update?
Yes, we have a brief update. June 4th was the election. We had the voter turnout was 10.2%, but 6.8 of that were the vote by mail ballots.
Oh, wow.
So over 50% were by vote by mail ballot. So it does increase voter turnout, I believe, and probably decreases the foot traffic at the polls. We had 451 voters at the polls. So
Busy day.
yep.
Long day.
So Connor was reelected with 899 votes and James Lyden with 919. And then Sarah was the only candidate for school committee, so she's been reelected as well. So we're looking forward to September, where there'll be the Saturday before and the week before of in-person early voting. And then whoever did not check off the September election on the postcard application will get another one from the state asking if they want to do it. So they get a lot of chances to vote by mail, and that is increasing the amount that we send out. So we sent out 2,136 ballots. That's who checked off vote by mail for elections, and we got back almost half. So
All of them.
Yeah, should have been all of them.
Right. The paperwork and the manpower.
Connor, did you have a question?
Yeah, just one question, Jeannie. The postcard that you said got mailed out, is that something that the state is gonna mail out every year for people to check?
I believe so. They never give us a firm answer when we ask. And the option to vote for all elections was a surprise to a lot of clerks. We didn't expect that. But like I said, it does increase the voter turnout, so.
Is there a significant cost associated with the
Yes.
ballots? With printing ballots and then, having half of them not be?
Well, they do return, the state does provide the postage paid return envelopes, but we have to pay to mail them out. So when we mail out over 2,000 and we get half back, we're still out that postage.
Yeah.
But the state does reimburse us for postage. Goes back in the general fund, but again, they don't confirm that we're gonna get that every time, so.
Okay.
Great. Thank you, Jeannie.
You're welcome.
So at this time, I would entertain a motion to move out of order to number 8, orders of the day.
I move up for 8 orders of the day.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We're gonna jump to 8A licensing matters. The approval of a 1-day liquor license for the Masonic Temple.
I'll do that. First and second. He's not here. Yeah. I'll make a motion to approve a one-day liquor license for Masonic Temple at 43 Chestnut Street for a baby shower on June 29, 2024, from 12 noon to 6 p.m.
I'll second that.
Okay, having a motion made and seconded, is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Two, approve a one-day liquor license for St. Luke's Greek Orthodox Church.
I make a motion to approve a one-day liquor license for St. Luke's Greek Orthodox Church, 400 Prospect Street for 90th birthday party, June 30th, 2024, 1 to 4 p.m.
Second that.
Having a motion made and seconded, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, A3, approval of a one-day liquor license for East Village Tavern. The Ride to Remember.
I make a motion to approve a one-day liquor license for East Village Tavern, 53 North Main Street, for a Ride to Remember fundraiser on June 20, 2024, from 4 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m.
Second.
Discussion, we have an applicant. Good evening. If you'd state your name for the record.
John Sullivan, East Village Tavern.
John Delaney from the Ride to Remember.
Nice to meet both of you again. So.
Just explain it a little bit.
Yes,
We're hoping to have a patio by now, and even though we're permitted for it, we still want to go by the rules and open communications of what we plan on doing there. And basically, when you walk in, we're gonna have tables set up where the patio should be existing. And we just want to use and utilize the space, you know, on the side where it was and where it is, contain everything. And I mean, that's where we host, and we make most of the money through donations with raffles. You know, like selling apparel, merchandise, people have bikes there. We sell what is it? How you ride up to register. So during that date, we're actively accepting registrations for the Ride to Remember, which the big ride's in September 27th, is it?
Yeah, the Right to Remember, you know, if you're familiar with it. It's a law enforcement based bicycle ride that used to go to Springfield to Boston. Now we're keeping it local. We're in our 12th year. And all the funds we make are donated to officer memorials. We built soccer fields and playgrounds in the city of Springfield. And at this event that we're having next Thursday, it's going to go to benefit Officer Santos that was just shot in the line of duty last week. And the money we raise here, instead of going to the Ride to Remember, is going to go right to his family. The Ride to Remember, again, is a bicycle ride that's been going on for 12 years now. It was started for Kevin Ambrose that was killed in the line of duty, and that has grown since. And in September, we have over 500 people doing the ride itself, so.
So if I may, this is more like a registration.
Yeah, registration for the ride, fundraiser for the ride.
So other than using where the decking was over there, the
Yeah.
parking lot.
In the front as well too. I'm gonna mark it off how I have everything contained where, you know, I do the 4th of July beer tent and everything too. There'll be no glass outside. I mean, we do bracelets with, you know, say if anybody, you know, like under 21, I mean, we run a very tight ship and, I mean, you're just gonna see in the parking lot, people with drinks and that's where we're already permitted for the patio. And we're just gonna keep it contained with tables. We rented a bunch of tables and that's where we'll have our raffles. We'll have bikes on display for, you know, the type of racing bikes that they use for the ride. Selling merchandise from previous rides. This year's ride, the apparel changes every year. They sell hoodies, hats. We have water bottle donations. I mean, everything we accept. He does a lot of events all year long leading up to the September date. So.
Cool.
Jeannie, did we receive from our department any concerns or questions?
They were approved.
Okay. And Tom, as town manager,
No, I mean, that's the spot for it.
And we did it on a Thursday because, you know, like, it's a little bit busy dinner rush. And then, you know, with the dinner rush, it kind of slows down. I mean, people have to work. A lot of these participants and our guests are law enforcement, you know, with different communities, towns, cities. So, I mean, a lot of people got to work early, 7 a.m. the next morning.
7 a.m.
Yeah, 6, 7 a.m. I mean. I mean, I'm up with my two puppies at 5 a.m. every day, so that's. They are crazy.
Counselors, any questions?
No.
Okay, hearing none, we've had a motion made and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All set.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Nice night.
Nice meeting you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We still got time.
Yeah.
Approve, change of hours for Motu Indian Kitchen.
I make a motion to approve a change of hours for Motu Indian Kitchen, 520 North Main Street, to Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Second that.
Have it in motion made and seconded. Any discussion? I would just like to say in, the documentation, the reasoning behind this was well laid out and, understandable completely.
The applicant's here if you'd like to have.
Oh, would you like to come up?
Please.
It's almost approved, so.
Just here to provide context if needed, yeah.
So I will say that laying it out like that was
Nicely
fantastic.
done.
It makes a lot of sense that, the shift in hours that people are eating out isn't 4 to 6 anymore. Most of them are 6 to 8, 6 to 9. I'm lucky if I get there by 9.
Yeah.
But, oh, I have to ask your name for the record.
Yep, Harshman Singh, Indian Kitchen.
And so is there anything you'd like to add to this?
No, I believe that was pretty much the gist of it. We're seeing diners come in a little bit later. It used to be like that 4 to 7 was the prime window. Now it's really like starts at 7. And we have people coming in at 8:45, 8:50, and we're like packing up, and it's not the greatest things. And I think we can kind of, even in the summer hours, kind of extend it a little bit. Fit that need a little bit better.
And said you're gonna be doing a Sunday brunch?
Sunday brunch, yeah. So we're asking for the hours to be the same through Sunday, because for the first few weeks, we're still testing out the brunch menu. We have quite a few recipes to get through before we get there. But we're gonna do our regular menu for Sunday and then eventually just transition to kind of the breakfast that spot is known for, like just bringing kind of breakfast back. And we don't really have many brunch spots kind of in the area, so just trying to bring something a little bit different. And we'll probably transition back to the hours listed there, where it's 11 to 5, just for the brunch, and just have that. But just in case that doesn't really work out for us, we don't have the cooks or whatever, I'd like to have the hours be regular hours, just in case we're doing a regular menu again.
Marilyn,
Are you under special permit for, as a restaurant, or were you grandfathered, was that use grandfathered at that location? Are you under special permit?
Don't believe so.
Okay, then the use was grandfathered at that location. Cause it was Patsy's and, no, so there was a restaurant, that's it.
No, it's not
No,
Patsy's.
no, it's
Different place.
Cookies was.
Cookies Cafe.
Oh, I'm sorry, I had your wrong location, that's why I haven't been there.
Yeah, I think Patsy's is now the other Redstone, yeah,
But you're not under special permit with them either.
I believe so.
I don't know why? I'm not gonna try to stir up any trouble, I'm just.
no, but I'm thinking all he's looking for is extended hours.
True, but if the special
serving.
permit has hours in it, then he would have to amend the special permit to meet the new hours. That was the whole reason why I brought it up. Don't worry about it. Forget I said it.
I can check.
We can check.
So that is something I would like Jeannie to check into,
Thank you.
just in case.
Hmm.
Just to make sure all our i's are dotted, t's are crossed, and with that, I would recommend approving
Right.
what's in front of us. And then if he has to go to planning, that would be
Absolutely,
separate.
absolutely.
So we've had a motion made and seconded. We've had discussion. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? You have your hours. If there's some change, Jeannie will get in touch with you.
Still has to go through ABCC approval.
Yeah, right.
Yes, yeah, that's-
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you. Good. Correct. Let's finish up the orders of the day. Or do you want to
Yeah.
skip back?
I'll just do,
Okay.
just finish.
Approve a change of officers, directors, LLC managers for Pride Operating. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve change of officers, directors, LLC managers for Pride Operating LLC, 13 North Main Street.
I second that.
Having a motion made and seconded, further discussion. I believe we have someone from Pride in the audience.
Good evening. Again, Jim Channing, Pride Operating, business address 246 Street, Springfield. It is our current CFO LLC manager is retiring. We have a proposed new LLC manager CFO. But again, we have to follow the rules. So here we are, proposing that for your consideration, ABC consideration, Secretary of State filing. In fact, for this company now, SEC filing too. So there's a lot of hoops we have to jump through. But the good news is the CFO did a great job. He retired. And so now we have a new proposed CFO that we're excited about as well.
So I appreciate the 128 pages of reading.
It's,
Thank you.
it's required. Trust me.
Counselors, any discussion, any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All set.
All right, appreciate it. Thanks again. Have a good summer.
Good to see you.
As well.
You wanna,
I can do it in 2 minutes.
okay. We have licensing committee update.
Can name that update.
Thank you. Somebody can time it. I'll do it in 2 minutes. This is fresh news. The licensing committee met this afternoon at 2:00. There were just a few items on our agenda. The first was to review the new outdoor dining guidelines that were put forth through the governor's office for the ABCC, and essentially, despite it being 3 pages long, it boils down to ABCC approval is no longer required for amendments to add outdoor alcoholic beverage table service areas. What they are doing is just allowing the applicants to work directly with the local licensing authority, render whatever decision may or may not be appropriate, and then simply notify them of, of the decision of the LLA. Our second item, also something that occurred today, earlier today at noon, we have an establishment in town that unfortunately in March of this year failed the compliance check by the ABCC in that alcohol was, an alcoholic beverage was sold to a minor. And so, of course, the ABCC conducts a hearing that was held today. And the licensee was very apologetic. It's an establishment in town that has a long-standing relationship with the community, has done several community events, is attentive to all paperwork. And I think that didn't fall lightly on the ears of the hearing officers, as well as the fact that the clerk who made the error was extremely upset by his oversight. So the ABCC said they would take it under advisement and render a decision. And it's customary that within a week or so, they're pretty prompt with their decisions. And we're hopeful that perhaps the licensee will maybe get a letter of warning, but the tenor of it didn't sound like there would be any severe. I'm making a judgment, but you know what I'm saying. And when it comes back, if there is a penalty or a consequence rendered, then it would come back to us for a determination on how we want to proceed with that. But for right now, the matter is just under advisement with the hearing officers. And finally, the committee voted to recommend to the council that the license rates for 2025 alcoholic beverage license rates remain the same as they are right now. And we've also decided that in the spring of 2025, we will undertake a comparative analysis of license rates in towns that are similar to East Long Meadow to make sure that we're still being competitive and fair to our licensees. Did I go over 2 minutes?
You passed 2 minutes.
You did. That was good news at the end. That means no change to our. Which is up later tonight. So. Thank you very much for that. So I think I need a motion to move back to number 7, public hearings, back to the correct order.
Before we do that,
Yes.
since we made a recommendation to you, we probably should ask you to take the recommendations of the subcommittee? Or we don't need to?
Mean to make a motion?
Yes.
You don't need to, but it wouldn't hurt to do that and have it on the record that you're not making any change.
So then I move that the town council accept the recommendations of the licensing subcommittee, maintain the 2025 alcoholic beverage licenses rates or fee schedule as is for the current, as it is right now in 2024.
Second.
Got it. Having a motion made and seconded, any discussion on it? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Rates are staying the same.
Good.
Okay, a motion to move back to number 7, public hearings.
I move that we move out of order to return to regular order at number 7, public hearings, and then continue the regular order of the agenda.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, public hearings. Okay, this is the continuation of a public hearing for a required second reading for the proposed bylaw amendment of chapter 160-4, Board of Assessors, the oath of office certification. Council members present, Anna Jones, Kathy Hill, Ralph Page, Marilyn Richards, Connor O'Shea, and John Torsia. I would ask the clerk read the legal notice into the record at this time.
The East Long Meadow Town Council will hold a public hearing on May 14, 2024 at 6:15 PM in the media room of the Council on Aging located at 328 North Main Street for the purpose of addressing a proposed bylaw amendment of chapter 160, Board of Assessors, subsection 160-4, Oath of Office Certification. This bylaw amendment will change the amount of time assessors must take the oath of office from within 2 years of their appointment, to within 1 year of appointment to comply with the Division of Local Services Standards. And as I explained at the first public hearing, this text is incorrect. It means that the assessors should be certified within that amount of time, not take the oath. But that verbiage is clear in the readings that we've been doing. Information relating to this bylaw is available for public inspection at the town clerk's office, 60 Center Square. To view an electronic version of the proposed amendment, please see the town's website. For the council, Jean R. Quaglietti, town clerk of the council.
At this time, I will read in the change that's proposed. It's under chapter 160, Board of Assessors, under subsection 160-4, Oath of Office Certification. Appointed assessors must take an oath of office as prescribed under Mass General Law, Chapter 41, subsection 29. The Department of Revenue, Division of Local Services, Assessment Administration Course 101 must be taken by all appointed assessors within 1 year of appointment is the way it will read. We're removing the 2. So it's no longer 2 years, it would be 1 year. I think the rationale is pretty straightforward. It's required now. I would ask, this is a public hearing. I would ask if there's anyone in the public that would like to speak for or against it. Come on up, let us know what your thoughts are. No one's rushing up. Okay. So I would close the public input portion of the meeting and bring it back to the council. Is there any discussion amongst the council?
Self-explanatory, really.
Pretty much. So at this time, we should probably make a motion.
Okay, I make a motion to approve the bylaw amendment of chapter 160, Board of Assessors, subsection 160-4, oath of office, certification as presented.
I'll second that.
And Connor,
Do we have to close the public hearing first before we on the action?
so we didn't take a vote per se to close the public hearing. Jeannie, should we close the public hearing first and then move on by a vote?
There's a chance that you may want to continue it, which is very slim. So you could keep it open until you vote, then close the public hearing, just to be safe and consistent with what we do.
So Connor, would you like to make a motion to close the public hearing?
Sure, I move that we close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
On a motion made and seconded, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Public hearing is closed. Anna.
I would love to make a motion to approve the bylaw amendment of chapter 160, Board of Assessors, subsection 160-4, oath of office, certification as presented.
And I strongly second.
Pretty sharp tonight.
Having a motion made and seconded, is there any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, or is this roll call? Jeannie,
It's a roll call. Bylaw amendment.
bylaw amendment, this will be a roll call vote. Anna,
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I am a yes. Marilyn?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
And John?
Yes.
I caught myself right before.
Been in this sun too long.
I have. Okay. 7B, Community Preservation Committee application for Chestnut Street Sports Fields. So this is a public hearing to approve $44,850 from the Community Preservation Act Public Recreation Fund account for the Chestnut Street Sports Fields feasibility study. Council members present are Anna Jones, Kathy Hill, Ralph Page, Marilyn Richards, Connor O'Shea, and John Torsia. I would ask the clerk to read the legal notice into the record.
The East Long Meadow Town Council will hold a public hearing on June 11, 2024 at 6:20 PM in the media room of the Council on Aging located at 328 North Main Street to address a Community Preservation Act application for the Chestnut Street Sports Field feasibility study. Information relating to this application is available for review by the public in the town clerk's office and on the town's website. The public hearing may also be attended to via Zoom webinar. For the council, Jean R. Quaglitti, Town Clerk of the Council.
Thank you. If anyone from the community preservation is here, please come forwards.
I am here to represent the 10-member committee, and it's my pleasure to explain to you the three different applications we had in approval. The first is
Before we get going, names for the record.
Richard Fitzgerald on the CPC committee, and Donna.
Donna Prather, Rec Director.
Thank you.
So as the president stated, this request is for $44,850. The goal is to do a survey on town-owned fields so that we could possibly add 2 more athletic fields because of the demand in this town for athletics for our young population. I don't know if Donna wants to add something.
Yeah, I would. Thank you. I just wanted to read the mission statement for a couple of reasons, the recreation mission statement, because I don't promote it enough. But it's to connect generations of residents by providing enriching programs and experience that inspire healthier living, increase social engagement, and the love for our community. And the reason I wanted to bring this out is because, yes, we have a lot of youth in our town that use the fields, about 7,000 of them. Now, it's not different kids. It's the same kids every season. Some kids, we had a kiddo this season that signed up for baseball and lacrosse. So the 7,000 is the same kids, but we're still serving them throughout the year. And the other reason I wanted to bring this up is that we are for all residents and not just our youth. And because of our field situation, we did have to turn down 2 adult leagues that wanted to play in town because we just didn't have the room to fit for the youth and make accommodations because we're losing some fields at the high school for a good reason, but just in the interim, we had to turn down the 2 adult groups. And I just wanted to make mention of that our situation is for all residents.
Counselors, questions?
Just the two leagues you had to turn away, were they softball or baseball?
One was an adult softball, one was adult baseball. That had both used our town
Previously.
previously, yes.
What would be the timeline for the study? So if the money is approved, what would be the hope of getting the study completed by?
We'd like to fast track it, so, yeah, I mean, ideally, we could have it done in time for next season, possibly. I mean, I know there's a lot of steps to come. I did talk to the company and to the town manager and that, you know, if for some reason that when they begin the study, it's not a viable space, we wouldn't be 44 and change. We would just be billed for what they did. Yeah, the work they did complete. So it's just, it's a little bit of research and just trying to see what we have as we look out throughout the town at different options for fields.
Kathy?
The parcel that you're looking at, yeah, I understand you're asking for 2 fields. Is the parcel large enough to accommodate more down the road if necessary?
Yes, it could. It's 9.9 acres.
Okay.
But there is some concern because there is some natural drainage.
Yeah.
So we were looking to just see, yeah, if we could use the whole 9.98.
Be nice, yeah.
Nice, but it's one of those things that we reached out to this group. They gave us the information for free. I reached out to another company and they charge 5,000 to 10,000 to just come out and tell us what it takes to get to this step. So I feel confident that we are in good hands in that respect.
Great.
And so this is solely a feasibility study of whether or not that parcel is even usable for what we want it to be.
That's correct.
Correct. And it's, I think a lot of the components of that feasibility study are things that we had sort of put in the capital request to begin with, which the capital committee recommended that this project go to CPC to use the rec funds. We need to find out how much of that space is usable. It's actually really flat. Whereas, you know, cutting a field into the hill at Heritage was like $1 million. This is sort of already flat. Obviously, it needs to be cleared and stumped and graded, but not the type of grading that costs megabucks. So part of this feasibility study would be stuff we'd have to do anyway. Wetland delineation, boundary survey, topo, to see what we got. So I think this property itself is, I don't want to say perfect, but probably one of our best town-owned properties that's flat enough where we won't have to do as much work as we may have to do at some other sites that need to be cleared and graded.
And I will say this property was donated to the town. It was given with basically no restrictions on it, use as the town saw fit to use. I was actually on the planning board when that came forward. So
Where exactly is it?
It's on Chestnut. It's by the nursing home and it's kind of catty corner to the Masonic Lodge.
Okay. Okay.
drive by it all the time.
Don't even know
It's just a little clump of woods and then most of it.
Yeah, right across from Cobblestone Lane.
Yes, it's on the side of the same side as the nursing home. Any other questions, comment?
Just another comment. It sounds like in addition to evaluating it for sporting fields and such, that it's just also a good idea that it would evaluate whether that site is really usable for town purposes.
Yeah.
Whether it's.
That's really an excellent point, because I think a lot of times this happens where we just sort of get this property. And there's never a boundary survey. We don't know where the limits are. We don't know what we could even think about doing on the property. So maybe it's not perfect for sports fields after they get out there and start collecting data. But maybe it's something else. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. I think deeds are nice. and they provide a description, but that's it. And it would take us a long time to walk around with a compass and a measuring tape. Yeah, right, yeah. Northwest.
32.3 feet.
Yep.
John, you had a question?
What is the amount in the recreation account currently? I know it was kind of, when I left, it was sort of on the lower side, but I think it's replenished.
I've only been to one meeting, John.
It was a great meeting. Should be.
I don't have that figure. I am sorry. I have the overall figure, but I don't have the broken down.
But we would basically have more than enough ample.
Yeah, I'm showing here, that right now in our account, not counting these, we have over $2 million.
That's total.
Total.
Consideration is we take out of the fund that it's designated for, and then anything over and above.
I assumed it was like over six figures, but I just.
That's a good estimate.
It's exciting.
Any other questions?
No.
I would entertain well, actually, it's a public hearing. So before I close it, let me open it up to the public. Is there any in the public that would like to step forwards and speak for or against this? Okay, seeing no one come forwards. Don, no one's on?
Nope.
Okay, then I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
Move to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Then entertain a motion for approval.
I move we approve the funding of the Community Preservation Chestnut Street Sports Field feasibility study project in the amount of $44,850 from the Public Recreation Fund account.
Second.
That's what's coming up.
Having a motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Anna,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yes.
I am a yes. Marilyn?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
John?
I'm a yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Feasibility study
Thank you, John.
accepted.
Let's go.
Yes. Off to soccer evaluation. Thank you.
I was there
Thank you.
Nice to see you, Don.
Thank you, Donna.
It's Donna.
May. One?
So, next up, we have community preservation application. So this is the next one is a public hearing to approve $3,000 from the Community Preservation Act Historic Preservation Fund account for the archival preservation of historical documents in the local history room at the library. The members present are Anna Jones, Kathy Hill, Ralph Page, Marilyn Richards, Connor O'Shea, and John Torsia. I would ask the clerk to read the legal notice into the record.
The East Long Meadow Town Council will hold a public hearing on June 11, 2024 at 6:30 PM in the media room of the Council on Aging located at 328 North Main Street to address a Community Preservation Act application for the archival preservation of historical documents in the local history room at the library. Information relating to this application is available for review by the public in the town clerk's office and on the town's website. On the Community Preservation Committee's page also. Public hearing may also be attended via Zoom webinar for the council, Jean R. Quaglitti, town clerk of the council.
Thank you.
For the record, which I'm chair again for historical
George
commission.
Kingston from Historical Commission. Tom Bien, Historical Commission.
I'll just give a quick synopsis. Once again, the cost is $3,000. If you look at the application, it tells you a description of the work being done by the consulting archivist. Am I saying that right?
Correct.
Yes. The amount of time and these materials, the goal would be to store them in the public library, local history room. And you have George and Tom here to go into further detail for you.
Questions? I have questions.
Shoot.
So is this a continuation? Did we not do some,
To date, what we have done is acquired the materials to store the files that we have, the archival materials. So we have the boxes, we have the file folders, we have everything that we need. The issue now is to organize the files that we have, the archives that we have, in a way that makes sense and that can be accessed in the future by looking up something in a database and then going to a certain box. Do that, we don't really have the expertise to organize that correctly. And we don't want to do it twice. If we start putting things in boxes and then realize that we haven't got the file system set up correctly, we have to go back and do it again. So what we're proposing is to acquire the services of a consulting archivist. The person we have in mind is a professional archivist with about 40 or 50 years of experience in this. She's retired. And I have seen her work on other organizations. She did the Allen Bird Club archives, which are now in the Springfield archives. And I know that she is competent to do this. Basically, we're asking for her guidance in how to set up a system for the records, proper record groups, and how to organize the records within the record groups, and how to record those in a database. And we're thinking of using Microsoft Access for that, but that's not certain yet. The Historical Commission, with some volunteers that we will recruit, will actually do the work of doing this. What we're looking for here is someone to help us set up the overall system so that we only have to do it once. And once it's done, someone can look up electronically the name of Joe Smith, who was a selectman in the 1950s, and find out what we have on that person and what files it's filed in. It may be, part of it may be under the business that he ran, and part of it may be under the personal name, and part of it may be under the town government. And the idea is to be able to have someone be able to go to the boxes, pull the files, and get the information they need. So that's what we're asking for. It will amount to approximately 40 hours of her time. She's billing at $75 an hour as a consultant.
Just like to add, we initially thought we could work with the state. They had a couple programs that have roaming archivists, and the two programs that they had, one didn't offer enough help and the other offered too much help. And it was also a matching situation where we had to come up with like $15,000 to match what they were going to put in, and they would do a lot of the work. So we found that our best solution was to hire an archivist privately. And in addition to the organizing the materials, we wanted, knowledge on how to do it correctly from an archival perspective to make sure it's stored properly. Currently, it's not. It's in manila folders. It should be in archival folders, all of that stuff. That's why we got the materials initially. And we thought we were going to be able to work with the state, but the two programs didn't work out for us. So that's why we're here.
Yeah.
Counselors, any other questions? This time I'm going to open it up to the public and see if they have anything to say. Anyone would like to come forwards? I don't see any hands or anything. Don, anyone online?
Sure.
Okay. So at this time, I will bring it back to the council. To close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, this time I would entertain a motion for approval.
I make a motion to approve funding of the community preservation archival preservation of historical documents in the local history room at the library project in the amount of $3,000 from the Historic Preservation Fund account.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? So roll call vote. Anna?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I'm a yes. Marilyn?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
And John?
Thank you very much.
Before we dismiss them, can we do a shameless plug for a historical commission event? Well, first of all, it's an amazing, I don't know if you've seen the history room in the upstairs of the library. It's absolutely amazing. The job they've done, not only doing it, but doing it well and doing it right. Like they said, getting this done to preserve the history of our town is something special. And I saw the room before it looks like it does now. So If you haven't been up there, swing by, but there's another event that I want them to plug if you don't mind.
Yeah, we're having an event here on the twenty-sixth. It's antique appraisal night. Being held here at the senior center from 5 to 8, where you can bring in 1 or 2 items to have an appraiser. We have 2 appraisers coming from Summers. They're gonna be here and they will appraise your antique items. So it's on the 26th of this month. You have to call the senior center to get a slot because we're anticipating a lot of interest in the event. And I talked to Alicia the other day. She said people are calling and it's filling up. So we're working with Aaron and Alicia here at the senior center. It's a joint venture between the historical commission and the council on aging. So, and Apple Place is providing some snacks too. So
All right.
it'd be a good night.
Food.
So
Thanks,
if
Tom.
we don't sign up, can we just show up and check?
We're gonna have yes, it's gonna be open to the public. You can come and show up and if there's time available, they'll take a look at your stuff. And it's a $5 donation for 1 item and $10 for 2.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
We're excited about it. It seems to be very popular. A lot of towns
Yeah.
around, I started researching it and it was just, they do it all over the place. So we're really excited about it. And the gentlemen from Summers are coming up to donate their time and we're looking forward to it. So come on down. See us.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
Tom.
That's great.
Appreciate it. Thank you all.
Thank you all.
Tom.
Absolutely. 2 of them.
Between the 2 of us, we were,
Yeah, I know. I told you to pick up the flyer, so.
I just gave it to Jeannie.
Okay, next on the agenda is another community preservation application. This is a public hearing to approve $12,000 from the Community Preservation Act Historic Preservation Fund account for the Maps and Plans Completion Project. Council members present are Anna Jones, Kathy Miller, Ralph Payne, Richard Connor O'Shea, and John Torsia. I would ask the clerk to read the legal notice into the record.
Okay. The East Long Meadow Town Council will hold a public hearing on June 11, 2024 at 6:40 PM in the media room of the Council on Aging located at 320 North Main Street to address a Community Preservation Act application for the Maps and Plans Completion Project. Information relating to this application is available for review by the public in the town clerk's office and on the town's website on the Community Preservation Committee's page. The public hearing may also be attended via webinar for the council. Jean Arquagletti, town clerk of the council.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, Richard Fitzgerald. And yeah, so once again, to account follow up what the president said, the application is for $12,000. It includes work to be done by an archive supervisor along with the town clerk staff. And it includes the amount of time to accomplish this job. If I'm correct, this is phase 2, where the first phase was to manage and preserve the files. The next phase now was for the maps and plans. And he's here to add anything to that.
So the first phase was the records that were in the archival boxes, the pattern here. And the second phase was the maps and plans. We started with the rolled maps onto the flat maps, which was it spilled over to a second phase. And all 3 of those phases brought down more records than was the original estimate. So it kind of, I fell short a few times, but we had to complete the project and I got the printed up. This is the completion of the flat maps. And this is a high estimate. So when we looked at there's 60 drawers to do. There's up to 200 flat plans in each. The vendor takes out each plan, he identifies it, marks it. Map after plan, then goes back and categorizes it and assigns it a number. We found when we went through the last of the drawers, or maybe less than that. So that's why I think I'll come under on this one, but this is the completion of the project.
Amen.
So yes, the next step will be digitizing and maybe other things like that, but we just want to complete this.
And this is the same company that did the,
Right, King Information Systems.
and if you haven't been downstairs to look at it, it's really amazing.
We got a lot of
Unbelievable.
trips to go on.
Yeah, you do.
Well, coming from somebody who used to go in the basement and search for plans, or that's what I told people I was doing because you went down there, you knew you weren't going to find anything. I think I've used it 3 times already, just in this first, I mean, everything's got a number on it. It's all on a list. You want this address or this road or
Right.
whatever you want.
Wow.
It is.
Searchable.
It's amazing. At some point, we'll scan them all.
Right, right. Start with the records.
No, but it is, the organization is phenomenal.
Mhm. They do a great job.
They do a great
And
job.
they love doing it.
And they are like a breath of fresh air in the town hall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're always talking with
Nice.
everybody and chatting.
Always
and-
seem excited to be down there.
Yeah,
Yes.
right.
And I
Cellar
don't,
dweller, I call him.
Cellar dweller, what you said?
But they love their work and they're very dedicated to what they do, so.
Great. That's
And they signed the waiver to go down in the basement.
so being a public hearing, I would open this up to the public at this time, if there's anyone that would like to speak for or against it. And Don, I still don't see anyone online.
Nope.
Okay. So then I would entertain a motion at this time to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Having a motion made and seconded, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay, then I would entertain a motion for approval.
I make a motion to approve the funding of the Community Preservation Maps and Plans Completion Project in the amount of $12,000 from the Historic Preservation Fund account.
second.
Having a motion made and seconded. This is a roll call vote. Any further discussion? Roll call. Anna,
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I am a yes. Marilyn?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
And John?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Rich.
Thank you very much. That's the
Thanks,
first
everybody.
time, 3 for 3.
Nice to see you.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Rick.
Okay, next on the agenda is a public hearing listed at 6:45 to approve wines and malt beverages off premises liquor license. This is a public hearing for an application for a new wines and malt beverages off premises liquor license for Zane's Smoke Shop, 611 North Main Street. Council members present are Anna Jones, Kathy Hill, Ralph Page, Marilyn Richards, Connor O'Shea, and John Torsia. I would ask the clerk to read the legal notice into the record.
Notice is hereby given under chapter 138 of the general laws that A to Z Food Mart LLC, DBA Zane's Smoke Shop, 611 North Main Street, East Long Meadow, has applied for a wines and malt beverages off premises liquor license. The town council will hold a public hearing on the application on Tuesday, June 11, 2024, at 6:45 PM in the Council on Aging Media Room, 328 North Main Street, East Long Meadow, Massachusetts. The hearing can also be attended via Zoom webinar. For the council, Jean R. Quaglietti, Town Clerk of the Council.
You. At this time, Don is Ali.
Yeah, he's on his way.
Beautiful.
Thank.
Hello,
There he is.
Good evening.
good evening.
Ali, if you would state your name for the record, please.
Yes, I'm Ali Sher, owner of Zen Smoke Shop, East Long Meadow.
Okay, and what are you, I'm assuming you're looking for a new liquor license.
Correct. So I just bought that store from Mohammed Talha, and I'm transferring everything to me. And I apply for new beer and wine license.
Okay. Counselors, any questions? Jeannie, any issues with the paperwork? All the paperwork squared away?
Right, we sent it to police, fire building, the tax collector, and health, and there were no concerns from either of those departments.
Okay, nothing through health department then.
Right,
Okay. This is a public hearing, so at this time I would open it up for the public. Any comments from the public? Don, is there any hands up?
No hands up.
At this time, I'll bring it back to the council. I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I move to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Having a motion made and seconded, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, I would entertain a motion then.
I move to approve the wines and malts off premises liquor license for A to Z Food Mart LLC, DBA Zane Smoke Shop, 611 North Main Street, with Ali Share as the manager.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Is there any other discussion on it? As long as everything's straightforward and good, this is a roll call vote. Anna?
Yes.
Kathy?
Yes.
I am a yes. Marilyn?
Yes.
Connor?
Yes.
And John?
Yes.
Ollie, you are all set to go. I'm sure you will be in touch with Jeannie to go
Yes.
through the process and ABCC and everything else.
Right, we have to send that to the application to the ABCC, then final approval comes from them. Okay,
Okay. I will be in the town hall by tomorrow morning.
okay, we can talk about it then.
Yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Good night.
Okay, next up is 8B financial matters. Do I have a motion to approve $166.70 paid for Verizon bills?
I move to approve 166 paid 011-552-5341 for prior year's Verizon bills.
Second.
Motion made, seconded, further discussion. So Tom, if I understand correctly, this was just money was paid, then brought back and then paid and pretty much it's all straightened out now.
That's what I gather from Doc's email.
Yes, that was quite the email. Took me 3 readings to complete
Yes.
all of it.
I actually pulled it up again.
I added something for that.
Yeah.
Counselors, any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Approval of minutes. Is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve the May 28, 2024 open session minutes.
Second.
Having a motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, 8D, old business. Town manager evaluation, performance evaluation. So I am gonna start. After discussing with the council at the meetings ago, I think, I sent Tom an email that I would just like to read into the record. It says, "Good morning, Tom. Town council is asking that you compile a self-evaluation of your job performance over the last year. I have compiled a list of questions which members submitted to help you in this evaluation. As you know, job performance must be held in open session. 1, what was your progress? No. What has your progress been on the goals set last July? Insurance evaluation, grant writer, municipal light plant, ongoing projects such as 382 North Main Street, Heritage Park, 70 Maple Street, etc. Number 2, what are 3 areas of the job where you perform well? Number 3, what are 3 areas of opportunity for self-improvement? Number 4, what do you think has worked for you? And what might you consider changing going forwards? Such as examples, conflict management, time management, budget preparation, colleague relationships. Question number 5, how do you see yourself as town manager? And how do you think others see you in your position? And number 6, how do you feel you handled the stresses of the town manager position? This is only a guide for you. I look forward to receiving your self-evaluation. And with that, Tom.
Hi.
Self-evaluation report.
Everything's been great.
And that's it.
That's it. Scene. Thanks, Ralph. And again, thank you for sort of putting some things together that I may or may not have hit on all of them in my rambling. I think I said I sort of fancy myself a communicator, a writer, not so much. So what I emailed you today sort of that's the best you're gonna get out of me. but, an overview, I guess I can't believe it's been a year already. And obviously I can't remember everything that happened. But I'm still just thrilled to be here. I think I've said it before and I'll say it again. The people that I work with are amazing at every level of this organization, from the staff to boards and committees, the council, obviously. I think I've had more meaningful personal interactions with pretty much everybody in this town than somebody ever should. Like I sort of feel so fortunate to be in this chair, and I don't take that for granted. I guess I'll ramble through some of the goals for sure. We'll start with, I'll just go in the order that you put them in there, Ralph. The insurance evaluation, we started, sort of got the lay of the land with all the Mass General laws and, kind of, so I'll say one thing. Nobody has anything nice to say about anyone else in the insurance world. No one. And it was hard to sort of wade through all of it. You guys should join this. And, this is way better than that. The obvious points of this are sort of to save the taxpayers money, but also, I mean, we need to take care of our employees as well. So that is ongoing. Obviously, we had a little staff changeover, if you will, in the HR department, which obviously benefits is in HR. They do a lot of this heavy lift. So without sort of all hands on deck, it was sort of a monumental task. And somewhere in the middle there, we got the news that we were having a 0% increase in our health insurance for this year, which certainly was a savings from the amount of increase that we get almost every year. And, I assume we should expect next year. See, Don's gonna need it. So that's ongoing. At this point, I expect to have somebody in the director's office in a month or two. We have interviews set up for the 20th with 3 pretty good candidates with a lot of municipal experience. So I expect this to be a goal that is completed, probably not even if we took this to a point where we could have done something, we would not have been able to change till FY 26 anyhow, which I think we're still in the window there until December. So there's still a chance that we could have a different carrier in 26 if in fact that was our best move. There's a lot of ways to look at it. And yes, the dollar figure is probably paramount. And the reason why we're looking at this and why we should always check all our insurances, you would do that at home, right? You're sooner or later, you just watch that bill just keep going like this. You should be analyzing this stuff on a yearly basis. So that said, we do have a really nice group that we're in right now in Scannick Valley with Longmeadow and Hamden and Wilbraham, and the school district. And that should be in the equation as well. I don't know what that impact will be to our neighboring communities if we leave, or what it would be to us if one of them leaves. So I think as I was looking at it, that has to go into the thought process as well. And then I think we as we were doing it, I think somebody asked maybe Kathy about all the insurance. So we also went into the property and casualty side of our insurance to see, we've had the same provider for 30 years, to see if that was a place that we could, again, save some money, but not just looking at the dollar figure, looking at all of it, with the affiliations with our current provider and, the credits we've built up, and the relationship we've built up and, the relationships that carrier has with other organizations across the state that sort of provide us some benefit, and discounts in different areas. That's one that, again, I'm going to, we'll see where the number comes in the next, we're getting towards crunch time, so the numbers should be in the next week or so, but I think we're gonna create an RFP for that one and we're gonna put that one out every year. And we'll make people fight for our business because that one is sort of a little bit easier to just say, hey, listen, we're going out to bid. Tell us what it's looking like next year and that'll be our number. The health insurance, again, that process, although we've got it all laid out now, we have the roadmap and I would assume whoever we hire is going to know that roadmap based on the Mass General laws that we've sort of accepted. We'll have to form a committee of representatives from every union in town, as well as, other employees. And I think go through that process to see if in fact, we could get a better price than we're getting. So I guess before I move on, that was a lot. So if you had any questions on sort of the insurance piece of it, I'd be willing to, in case I didn't forget anything or explained anything incorrectly.
I think you hit on pretty much everything with it.
Okay. So the grant writer, we still don't have a grant writer, quote unquote. So we went through I went through the exercise of whether we should add a permanent position, which we semi did a long time ago with the first deputy town manager. I want to say her job title wasn't grant writer, but that was pretty much her day, or 20 hours a week or whatever it was. So it was either that, which, I was really, really, really hoping not to add any new positions this year, which we accomplished to an extent. And, looking at consultants who actually somebody came in the office today and was asking if we knew any consultants that do this grant work. And luckily Deb told them I was busy because I was. But there are these consultants out there and I think, we talk about grants a lot because, it is another funding source and very important to try to get your hands on as much money as you can, especially in the municipal world. But luckily, our deputy town manager, Rebecca Lisi, has quite a skill set, which sort of I noticed in her credentials when we were interviewing. And there is a little bit of a typo here. I apologize. And she apologized profusely to me. She's gotten almost $500,000 or a little over $500,000 already since November. And then we have another grant to, this was something that me and Mary talked about a lot, that it was obvious that there was too much in the manager's office for one person, and that's how we created the deputy town manager position in the first place. That job wasn't necessarily defined by charter, by law, by bylaw. And so we got a grant to do that. Meaning, what is everybody else doing with a lot of communities around us are doing the slash, right? So it's assistant town manager, planning director, assistant town manager, HR director. So there's a lot of different ideas of what that, obviously, there's some implied responsibility when you're second in command. But there also should be in the organization some sort of, list of duties or list of direct reports, this kind of thing. So we got this grant that we're working with, this DLTA grant to sort of define that position. And again, we don't want to cater the position based on the skill set of the person sitting in the chair. However, it's sort of hard to ignore the skill set of the person sitting in the chair. And I think it's probably in our best interest to incorporate grant writer into the deputy town manager's position, because there are these, it's sort of there are things that inevitably have to come through the manager's office. And a lot of times with the grant stuff, it's initiative. And those things should be coming from the manager's office. And I think that's probably the place where the grant writing and grant administration should be coming from. So to be continued, but I think this is sort of a little foreshadowing of this grant writer position. This grant administrative duty is going to wind up in the deputy town manager's portfolio. Any questions on grant writer? Okay. So everyone's favorite, mine and yours, the municipal light plant. Just really exciting. The design work, obviously we're partnering with Westfield. It's funny when you're like immersed in the stuff for so long, and I'm not making like notes in my head like, oh, this happened on this date and this happened on this date. And so I had to look back to figure out when we created it, when did I actually start and what's already been in there. And so anyway, we're partnering with Westfield Gas and Electric, Whip City Fiber. We have an agreement with them to build out the system. They've been riding around, as you know, we've been updating in the report. The design is done at this point. We're sort of expanding this partnership with Westfield. They're a great organization. We have communication every day with not only their sort of boots on the ground staff. Ryan's been meeting with them bi-weekly, but they're very attentive in the office as well. This is a major, this is going to be a major accomplishment for the town of East Long Meadow and its residents. Not to look too far ahead, but the goal was always to bring fiber optic to our residents. That's what they wanted. Everybody's been clamoring for something other than what the only thing we have in town. And the way that we've set up this partnership, it's not only going to do that, but it's also going to sort of provide some sort of revenue to sort of offset some of our other rising costs. Again, down the road, and that may not even be the way we go with it, but we may just keep dropping everybody's bill down until nobody's paying anything for fiber. There's literally a million ways we can go with this, because this is something that everyone needs and everyone uses. And if you're gonna pay the bill, you might as well let the town reap the benefits of that. So we're really excited. Again, we're moving forward. The design's pretty much out the door. We'll get in touch with our utility providers who own the poles in the street, get our applications in, and once the design comes back and the make ready work comes back, we can fine tune that number that sort of has been all over the place since we've been looking at this project from an estimated construction standpoint. And then Kim has already sort of got us all set up. Well, we set up the account already, but in terms of forecasting what this what this build out is gonna cost and what that's gonna look like. Like over the years and through the build out. So we're in great shape there. That's one that we continue to be really excited about. And so I'm really excited about that as well. Any questions on the MLP? No? All right.
Simple.
All right. Ongoing projects. I got Heritage Park here first. So following our vote to acquire 382, we revised the plan over at Heritage, which had something like a $4.5 million rec building, which wasn't a rec center, say. It was, some basketball courts, but most importantly, it was offices and bathrooms for the rec department, who's shoved over in a corner here at the COA. Quick aside, these are the things that we always talk about, the town hall study and meanwhile, we have these other departments that everybody forgets are shoved. Donna doesn't even have an office with a door. That's not okay. Anywho, I digress as usual. So that plan is done. When we took the building out, we realized a ton of savings, not only in the design cost, which was CPC funded for $450,000. I think we saved, there was like 200,000 in architectural fees for that building. So we're way down. We were able to add dredging the pond back in, which I thought was my last choice to come out of the project in the first place, because that hasn't been done in forever. And there's something like 18 inches of, whatever you'd like, whatever word's in your head right now, there's 18 inches of that at the bottom of the pond. So that's good. And that may lend itself to other design options, because we took that huge chunk of money out of the whole cost was like $9 million at one point. And so now we're down around 4-ish, which is it's feasible. You're looking at, I think we said that when we were designing it, we keep stacking up these $10 million projects that we're, let's face it, never gonna do. And now we've gotten this one down to a point where we can fix up an asset, an important asset that hasn't seen much attention in a while. So the downside, of course, with the timing of things is we can't make this investment right now. And that is because Mass DOT is coming down North Main Street with a improvement project. There's a shared use path across the entire front of the park. And and I know that no matter how much we coordinate, something's going right through something we just put down. So hopefully we stay on schedule, and that project is started in fiscal 27, the TIP project, I mean. And then right when that's done, and we can sort of come right behind with this sort of upgrade of the park. The building across the street, and sort of rejuvenate this corridor right here, which let's face it, is something that I think about a lot when I think about our town is, growing up playing ball over there, playing soccer out back. It's a park that with a little bit of TLC, I think we're going to get back to a point with a lot of people, a lot of traffic. So
And then there'll be a little bit more at the bottom of the.
More inches, 20 inches.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll adjust for inflation.
Where do we stand on the deed? I know we couldn't secure a grant because the school.
They signed up.
So that's all been.
So that went through the
Yeah.
Jesse.
Yep.
So that's all been done so that.
Correct.
when
So
we're
that,
ready, we can apply for a grant.
right. Yep.
Or I can apply for a
Yeah.
grant. Because I wrote.
So, and I think, as we get to that point, we can still think about, if we want to leave sort of a cutout space for a building out front there if we still want sort of maybe an indoor basketball court with some bathrooms or, but like more like a Butler building, like not this grandiose rec center that we had on there that was too big of a bite. Something, that looks nice, but is not as costly. So that again, unfortunately, we have to wait for it, but I think we can sort of get it off the plate until then, which is at least something. 382 North Main. So that process has sort of been streamlined by the fact that we had done so much work over the last year and a half to gather information, look at what's happening over there in an existing capacity, what it's going to look like in the future. There are some legalities to the whole process, even though we're calling it quote unquote friendly. Mass General Law doesn't smile. So we kind of just have to go through the process and do what we have to do to make it friendly, which we will, and we are. And that's what our attorney's been instructed to do. So for instance, by law, leases terminate automatically in a taking. That's not what we're doing. They will be picked up right where they are, and we will be, and we'll just change out the name and here we go. So a lot of the paperwork's already been sent to the owners of the building. We're working on the minor details. A title survey has been ordered and completed, mortgage survey completed. And so we're looking at, I was hoping, because I am just trying to move everything to July 1, but it's not looking likely. However, it won't be too far after the new fiscal year. Any questions on 382?
Nope.
70 Maple, another one. So this building has been secured, obviously, almost immediately. I went over there with Dave and Mark and Chief Morissette and Bruce. We got the building all shored up. Some doors were pried open and some graffiti that I certainly won't go into here. But I'm excited about this property. Obviously, the site needs to be cleaned up. So November, we're going to apply for a grant, EPA Brownfields Program grant, which I think we have a really good shot at getting. Again, I guess I use it too much, but we check a lot of boxes. But we have a site in downtown East Long Meadow that needs to be cleaned up. I mean, these are the sites that they're looking for. If we had like Allen Street landfill, for instance, which is on the outskirts of town and not really bothering anyone too much, you're probably not going to get looked at too favorably. But we have a site that is quite literally in the center of our town that needs to be cleaned up. So I've been working with West Mass Development. They said there's a program through UConn that does a great job putting these applications together as well. So we'll be reaching out to them, the grant writer. We'll be reaching out to get as much assistance as we can, because I really do think that this is an opportunity for us to say, without, we hardly spent any money other than money we didn't collect in taxes to acquire the property. If we can sort of clean up a 4-acre site in the center of town, I don't even want to tell you how much that would be worth. And I think at some point, whether it's in the center town district or not, or clean or not, at some point we unload the property in the form of an RFP to some developer who will inevitably clean it up, whether that price is in or out of the purchase price. That's probably the way to go. But again, to your point about feasibility on Chestnut Street. What if this site is good for something else for the town of East Long Meadow? I think it's going to be too valuable to use it ourselves. But that remains to be seen again. Once we have all the information, we can make that decision. We don't want to do it before that. So again, I did struggle to write these, and multiple counselors reached out to me. Nobody likes self-evaluations. I mean, I do like to talk about myself, but not like this. And I think most of it is because over the year, I think you maybe ad nauseum, I always use we and us, because I don't want to talk about myself, because it is a team. And believe me when I tell you, everyone should be feel very fortunate about the people that work here. And so I wouldn't be much of the leader I want to be without giving most of the credit to them. It's been a great year. It really has. Again, I'm still as humbled as the day that you told me that this was going to be my job. I'm just happy to be where I'm at. I'm happy to work with the people I work with, and I'm sort of happy to get it all done with all of you as well. So I don't know what else to say other than it's been fun. We got a lot of work to do, no doubt, but we got a lot of work done, and we're going to continue to get a lot of work done. And I told you at the outset that it will never be because of lack of effort, and you're always going to get that out of me. So that's all I got. Unless you got direct questions, I'm happy to answer anything from anyone at any time. I think we're sort of pushing this mantra that we not only sort of work for you, but we work with you. We're meeting with everyone. We're talking to everyone. We're sharing information. We're transparent. You want anything, you got it. There's nothing, nobody's hiding anything. Nobody's not going to listen to your suggestion because it might be the suggestion. So I don't know. I'm again, really happy with the first year. I'm happy with a lot of things we did listen to me. I love talking about myself, apparently. I think we did a lot of good things with the budget process. I think we did a lot of good things in capital. I think we continue to make things better in the office. I think we continue to make things better with our policies and procedures, and just sort of creating the team atmosphere that I wanted to create. So again, I'm excited to be your manager. So thanks.
Thank you. Does any counselor have anything based on his self-evaluation? So what my thought is at our next meeting, which is the 25th, we do a full evaluation, basically us asking questions if we need any further. And then basically, once we're done and we have the answers, basically do his evaluation. And again, because it's performance, it has to be done in open session, which is sometimes very difficult. But what my thought is after we do that at the next meeting, then we have our compensation committee discuss looking at the contract and all, any compensation based on what we've come up with, for lack of a better term, a grade, a performance grade of what he's done. Unless, as a counselors, you guys have a different thought process. What's your thought, Marilyn?
Okay, so first of all, before you did a great job on your self-eval. It's not easy. I know.
Thanks. Very difficult.
And you also picked up the weakness that I thought you had. So so we're on the.
Did I forget to mention that in my diatribe?
But that's okay. Sure, I think next time it would be good to discuss what we've heard tonight, plus anything else we've learned, but the grade part, I don't know how we're gonna
Well,
get to that.
I think in the past, we had done what on a scale of 1 to 5.
We've done a variety of,
grade, you know, on 1 of 10, just so that we can come up with some basic points. In other words, unless we just use average, better than average, great. Again, I don't know how to,
Okay,
and I'm definitely open for suggestions on it.
Kathy,
I
do you
never
remember
thought a
the-
scale of
do you
1 to
remember
5
the
was
tool that
good.
we used?
we've used several, 6 or 7 years that we've done this. It's hard to do because it's so subjective. The last time we did a real concrete evaluation, we used more of what educators would call a standards-based evaluation, where the standard would be met the goal. Achieving, you know, the goal, which means in progress, and then you could comment in there, or did not meet the goal. And then look at that anecdotally, you know, if there's a lot of did not meet the goal, then we would decide. And I'm just using this as an example to portray it. Should that be the case, then you decide, do you want to still continue with that goal? Do you want to make the goal more finite with a timeline, you know, deadlines? If there is a large majority of met the goal, well, I think, you know, you base the purpose of giving an individual goals to use as a performance indicator is to determine, did the job get done or did the job not get done? And that's really what the compensation goes to when all is said and done, is the employee functioning at the appropriate level that the employer is happy with. Does that make sense?
So, I
But
mean,
that's just one way. You can do 5 is great, 1 is,
we had set specific goals as far as what we wanted to see,
right,
but that also doesn't take into account his job description.
correct.
And how he did his
Exactly.
job, which I think is a huge part of it, especially just coming in. So,
Right, because that only, if you just do it just on goals, then you presume that that's all
Right,
Tom has done for the last 365 days, when that's,
seems it.
you know, there's still, I mean, having been on the finance committee, that right there could have easily been a goal, because it's so, you can't even get your arms around it sometimes, how important it is to develop a $72 million budget. And, you know, a financial package for the town. So there are a lot of other things, you know, availability, being present for the public. There's just, you know, all the things that go into the day-to-day job.
Actually, I don't think we do realize all the things. And I think when you take the position, you don't realize how much is involved in it. And that's why I wanted the self-evaluation, so that you could help us understand what's involved in it on a day-to-day basis. And even at that, I mean, there's no way to know unless you're doing the job. And like you said, it's not a 24/7, it's even more.
Yeah. No, and again, that, I think, I can attribute a lot of that to, I almost said first year jitters. No, like just trying to get my hands on everything at least once, right? And that takes a long time. And that's why there's department heads. So everyone doesn't have to touch everything, right? But because it was year one, it was hard to manage the time. So there, I mentioned my weakness, Marilyn.
I have an answer.
No, Deb started changing colors with her pen, so now I know when it's urgent. No, again, I think a lot like everything, like I tell my kids, the more you do something, the better you get, the more efficient you get. And again, in a year one where a lot of things went well, it was only because, man, there was a lot of time spent outside of this 8 to 4 window, which I know when I signed the paper, it wasn't an 8 to 4 window. But there really isn't a lot of downtime, which is okay. It just was a lot more than I expected. I mean, there are no down minutes in a day. But it makes the days enjoyable. It makes them go quickly. And I'm very fulfilled. I can say that.
When I was working as an educator, I had a colleague principal who had a photo in his office. And it was a picture of himself and some friends of his who went whitewater rafting, and he was in the front seat. Of course, they're all the helmets on and stuff, but the water is just coming up. And he said, it always reminds me of the job we do every day.
Yeah. Mhm. Yep. But yeah, so.
I've been searching, I've got a lot of stuff in here about evaluation, but one of the tools we had, or one of the ways we rated back in, and it was Kathy Hill, Pat Henry and me. Where we created just a tool where you evaluated generally exceeds the performance standard, generally meets the performance standard. And there's a number: 4 generally exceeds, 3 is generally meets, 2 is does not always meet, and 1 frequently fails to meet the performance standard. And that to me is more reflective of the job.
Right.
And so I don't even know if that would work with, could you apply that to each goal?
Well, it's not necessarily the goal. I mean, we're
That's all the
evaluating.
other things too.
Right, exactly.
So
So
I have
yeah.
that, and actually, but I'll have you send it to me. And during this week, well before the next meeting, I will send something out.
I will look through all
Take
of
a
my
look,
files.
and like I
I
said,
may have
previous ones.
something in my
Yeah.
files too. Because I
we're
really,
learning as we go too. Town council here in East Long Meadow is still new. I know we've been at it for what, 7, 8 years now,
Yeah.
but it seems like just yesterday that we switched, so. And I think we have to look at how we do things and try and perfect it to make it easier going forward so that everyone knows going forwards, hey, what are we looking for? What are we doing?
Right, but that is, I said that to somebody that like almost probably nowhere does the legislative branch and the executive branch work this well together or get along this well all the time. And that is sort of a testament to all of you and what we're trying to bring to the community. And I think, and I hope that everybody can see that through the camera, that we are all here with the same goals. And that is fun. And that's exciting. And that is going to really sort of keep East Long Meadow headed in the right direction.
Counselors, any other questions? I will send something out very shortly. And like I said, each of you individually can tweak it. And at the next meeting, we'll go through it and figure out appropriate method forwards.
And if you need anything else from me, I'd be happy to. Kathy said my grammar was even pretty good, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Tom.
Thank you.
I know it's difficult and I do appreciate it.
Very hard.
Oh boy. Schedule, why would anyone want to do this? Okay, under new business, we have a bylaw amendment, chapter 500 fee schedule, updating the health, ambulance, water, sewer, and stormwater first reading. So considering this was for me to start, I will read the purpose of the bylaw change is to update the fee schedule so it reflects the increases in rates which we voted on at the budget hearing, and to update the health department fee schedule to reflect additional review and permit fees. I propose, I've submitted this, I propose we amend chapter 500 fee schedule, sections 500-5G, water, sewer, stormwater rates, section 500-6, fire department fees, and section 500-7, health department fees as follows. Chapter 500, 500-5G, water, sewer, and stormwater rates. The water rate is proposed to go from, well, actually, it will be listed as $4.40 per 100 cubic feet, which is a change from $4.20. The water agricultural rate was $3.15. It will now be $3.30 per 100 cubic feet. Sewer rate was $4.10. It is now $4.74 per 100 cubic feet. Stormwater rates, each category has been increased by $15, which, as an example, the single family homes went from $32 to $47. Congregate living facilities went from $510 to $525. And agricultural vacant land stayed at $0. Mixed use parcels went from 60 to 75 and so forth. So each stormwater fee category was an increase of $15. Under 500-6, the fire department fees, fines, and penalties. Under the ambulance service, the BLS emergency and non-emergency transport was $1,298.03. It's now $1,349.04. BLS emergency transport Medicare was $435.92. It's now $456.19. The BLS non-emergency Medicare was $272.45. It is now $285.11. The ALS one emergency / non-emergency transport was $2,072.86. It is now $2,155.77. ALS one emergency transport Medicare was $517.65. It is now $541.72. The ALS one non-emergency transport Medicare was $326.93. It is now $342.15. The ALS two emergency transport was $3,150.13. It is now $3,244.63. ALS two emergency transport Medicare was $749.24. It is now $784.08. The mileage per mile was $35. It's now $36.40. Mileage per mile Medicare was $8.40. It's now $8.80. And then under 500-7, health department fees, fines, and penalties. Under environmental, we have added two categories. We added a solid waste disposal site assignment review fee for $500. And we added a solid waste disposal site permit for $250. These two were added as we will now have a solid waste disposal facility coming into town. So with that, are there any questions on the fee schedule changes? So this will be something, once the budget goes through each year, once we've approved the budget, there's automatic changes, whether it be the water rates, whether it be the ambulance rate. And so the budget will get approved by June 1st. And hopefully in the June. We set up 2 meetings so that we can do it, so that by July 1st, the start of the new fiscal year, our fee schedule is online for the whole new fiscal year. We'll see how it works going forward.
It'll work great. Jeannie's in charge.
It's a plan.
So is there a motion?
Yes, I make a motion for the bylaw amendment of chapter 500 fee schedule, updating fees for health, ambulance, water, sewer, and stormwater to the bylaw review committee for a recommendation to the town council.
I'll second that.
When a motion made and seconded, any other discussion? Hearing none. Jeannie, it's not a roll call, right?
Right, because you're not approving it yet.
Please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The fee schedule goes forwards. Okay, next up is a bylaw amendment, striking subsection 450-10C 2-1, requiring the planning board to review the interconnection utility notification for solar, first reading. Anyone like to do the first reading of it?
Sure.
Not everybody. It's just the one paragraph.
I have it here on the, do you have it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So under chapter 450 zoning, under article 10 ground mounted photovoltaic installations, section 450-10.2 applicability, site plan review, design standards for small scale installations. It would strike under A1 to remove utility notification, no grid intertie. Solar photovoltaic installation shall be installed until evidence has been given to the planning board that the owner has submitted notification to the utility company of the customer's intent to install an interconnection of distributed generation. Off-grid systems are exempt from this requirement. That's it.
That's the only change.
And we did receive notice from the planning board that they had held their public hearing and they have recommended this. And was it the planning board that submitted this?
Yes.
Or is it through Rob, or who's carrying the weight now of this? So that when we have questions, we know.
The recommendation was dated May 22nd from Rob Wachilla, the Director of Planning. I believe Rebecca initiated it.
I was there at the meeting, so, and we are meeting between planning manager's office and building department
Yep.
weekly, so anybody would be qualified to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, so my thought is this is for referral to the planning matter subcommittee. That possibly at the second reading, which is public hearing. Second reading has to be a public hearing, right? That would probably be the appropriate time to ask all the questions when the public's here and all. So I would entertain a motion to refer this.
Thank you. I want to just add.
Oh.
So we have encountered another conflict or set of ambiguous language in the solar bylaw. So we are going to be submitting another second and possibly third amendment for your consideration. And so it may make sense to bundle the conversation in planning matters subcommittee. If you could hold off scheduling the hearing, there may be an opportunity to bundle those 3 different amendments into one conversation instead of having to take up the same bylaw section over and over again. So I just wanted to put that out there to perhaps create some ease of review.
So we will hold off on the public hearing until such time as it's done through the planning matters.
The other two.
The other 2 come from planning board to you.
Oh, they haven't even gone to the
Right.
planning board, so.
So could we hold off on this until we do first readings on the other 2?
Right.
So is it all based on the ground mounted solar photo? So typically when a bylaw comes forwards, if there's additional language changes or whatever, the town council has the opportunity to do that without going back to the planning board.
Yeah. So we'll file them for your next meeting and then maybe you can forward them all to planning matters at the same time.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So we are meeting in 2 weeks. Okay. Correct?
Yes. So this would be continue this discussion in 2 weeks. It won't be for a second reading. And we're not going to submit it to the Planning Matters Subcommittee until after.
Okay.
So we will just continue or table this first reading until the next meeting. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Is everyone good with that?
Yes.
Or do we need a motion to table this to the next meeting?
I move we table this.
Second.
So typically we don't just hold off on something, but
But you did the first reading, so you could still stand with that, that's been done. Unless you want to do it again
Planning Matters Subcommittee deal with any additional
and
language.
do the first readings at the next meeting for those 2 additional items and then
That's what I'm saying, instead of, because it wouldn't.
Referring it now.
will it affect the verbiage?
No, we're gonna bundle it all together.
Okay.
Because like I said, a lot of times the Planning Matters Subcommittee will come back with recommendations that the
Yeah.
language be
Okay.
changed.
Procedurally, you could just schedule the Planning Matters Subcommittee on this one, and she can bring 2 more amendments to the same thing to the table.
As long
That
as it's within the same
correct. That's what I mean.
ground mounted photovoltaic.
That would be that would be an appropriate time to bring up the other 2 at the Planning Matters Subcommittee meeting.
And would you be good with that?
Yeah, and per the building commissioner's request, we're getting a letter of support that outlines the changes from town council. Legal counsel.
Legal.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, so I think it'll be very neat and easy to organize the conversation in that way.
So let's refer this to Planning Matters then and let them deal with it.
Thanks a lot.
You go,
A
Marilyn.
little confused though. So the next 2,
We're
Proposed
just moving forward.
okay, just forget those. Okay.
And like I said, the next, if there's any additional changes that the Planning Matters thinks that would be appropriate,
Okay.
they can recommend to the council that we make this language change.
And you can do
In-
that without a motion from
You
the
can do
town.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Want my
So-
motion?
Yeah.
I move that we refer to the zoning bylaw amendment. Wait a minute, I move that we refer the zoning bylaw amendment striking 450, section 10.2. Item C1, requiring the planning board to review the interconnection utility notification for solar to the Planning Matters Subcommittee for recommendation to the town council.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Action items. Set up a Planning Matters Subcommittee.
I sort of have another one if you don't mind. Well, obviously, the next meeting will have, as you could imagine, a lot of sort of year-end tying loose ends up kind of thing. I'll try to keep it and give you enough notice instead of Monday morning. But at the, there was a condition of approval for the high school site plan. And I don't remember, and we can talk about whether or not they should be changing our rules and regs as part of their conditions, but this is a particular problem that I think we identified a long time ago, and I'd like to just put it in place before the next school year starts, and that's the parking, no parking at where Marshall comes into Maple. Not Marshall, Melwood. So the reason that they suggested no parking is the new entrance to the high school will be directly across from Melwood. And right now during drop off and pickup, people park along the corner there. And you like at a certain, like that 15-minute perfect window, you can't move, you can't get through. So the suggestion from planning board, we'll call it that, because I think that is more appropriate, that we extend that no parking zone for Maple back as far as sort of you deem appropriate. My question is, Jeannie has given me the Word document of our traffic rules and regs. It's not in the bylaw, as I understand, so we don't really need to do the bylaw process to change the rules and regs.
That's correct.
Should I just submit sort of an amendment to you with an agenda item? And you guys can chat about, I can have the police chief here. I mean, ever since they brought it up, I've been sort of noticing every time I try to stay off Maple Street between 1:30 and 2:30 like everyone else, but every once in a while I try to see what that actually looks like. And there are a lot of people parked there, like they start parking there at 1 and dismissals at 1:50.
Should we have no parking along Parker Street too?
And Summers.
Well, these are, again, and these are valid questions. And again, it's only because one of the conditions of the approval of the site plan for the high school, the planning board mentioned specifically no parking on this street, which I know we've had this conversation before, and I don't know that it's it's not really their job to set traffic rules and regs. However, in the interest of sort of working together for the best for the town of East Long Meadow, do you take that recommendation and we change the rules and regs to at least explore or ask the manager and the police chief and the fire chief if they can get a truck around there at 1:15 or whatever time? I think it should be at least heard. It may not be so bad right now, but when the entrance to the new high school and Melwood line up perfectly, we may run into
a stop sign.
Well, we'll never get the traffic warrant, which I know people hate when I give them the explanation, but a bunch of traffic for 15 minutes doesn't get you a light or a stop sign or anything. You just got to be patient.
So the procedure, obviously, if you're bringing it forwards, would be to craft an amendment to the traffic rules and regulations.
Okay.
And we'll put it on the agenda and
done. I just wanted to make sure.
Rules and regulations are easier than.
Correct. All right. And keep an eye out for
I
that.
think it would be good to have, the police chief basically back it and say, yeah, that's a good idea. And they're the ones that basically enforce it. So.
Okay. That's it. Thank you.
Other action items is I will send you out the information that I find through Maryland stuff on that evaluation. Was there any other items? Okay. We will move on then. There is no executive session. Would there be a motion to adjourn?
There is. I move that we adjourn.
Is there a second? Whoa, that was quick. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? I want to stay.
Ralph, are we done?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.